Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. With Team Scump winning the Black Ops 2 throwback tournament. Crimsix is not so happy about getting defeated by Scump in the grand finals, but also all the statistics for the event have been revealed. Turns out that Alan Killer Sloss was costed hard by some CDL pros on his team. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that one. Honestly, when I first saw this image, I couldn't even... It took me a split second to figure out who this even was. This is Miles, of course, wearing an absolutely fantastic outfit on the final day of the event if you guys didn't manage to tune into it. But yes, firstly, a couple of updates quickly. This from the flank, first of all, that they are planning to do every single live event this season in person. So Ben's reaching out to everyone kind of hosting the events this season. Starts out in Raleigh. That's a CDL event. They'll have to reach out to the CDL themselves for that one. But then it goes, Major 2 is Boston, Major 3 is OpTic, then Major 4 is New York, Major 5 Toronto, we think, but hasn't been confirmed yet, and then champs probably at LA. You know the vibe. I want to keep holding out some hope that it's going to be in London, but also one of the questions that I have about this whole KLY acquisition of Rogue and London being under the kind of Spanish organization now is like, well look, if the CDL don't allow them yet to move it to Madrid or whatever, if they say, you know what, you've got to find a buyer for the London spot if you guys want to move it to Madrid, then how much effort are they going to put into that London franchise? Do you see this new Spanish ownership group going pretty hard to organise a big event in London? Probably not, let's be honest here. And are they going to be pushing for the World Championship to be in London? That seems doubtful as well. So yeah, probably they're going to do it in LA once again, but still pretty cool from the flank. They're going to try and do as many of these in person as they can, because the few that they did last season were absolutely fantastic. So that was certainly good to see. And even Adam Morrison straight away from Octane Esports and Boston Breach reaching out immediately. So we can definitely expect to see that in due course. Let's talk about the throwback tournament then. This is Hilton on the right hand side. I showed a picture of him yesterday when he was holding up like Ziddy is bad or something, and this is the original from on the left hand side here. From, if you guys haven't seen this picture before, even I think Nameless, even the far bottom right hand side, this is Nameless's head right here when he stands up and drops the I'm eating you alive, I'm pretty sure was the clip that came out probably a few minutes before or after this. But yeah, this is Hilton in his oversized dad suit here, screaming at the other team. He brought the notebook and he said something legendary like, you're welcome in my city, but this is still my city, or something like that. Like, just absolutely classic stuff. Now, speaking of the off-season and this kind of throwback tournaments, Hitch actually had a few interesting words on it, saying that Black Ops 2 will probably be the event going forward as well. As he says, I will say it's going to be really hard to convince me to do a different game beside Black Ops 2 for this event. Game is damn near perfect. I was wondering, like, look, this has to be a yearly thing, and I really hope that we get KiLLa and Big Time with these guys back in business next year if they can attend. And I'm totally down for Black Ops 2 to still be the game, but at some point you'd think they'll probably do a different game than Black Ops 2, and as Hitch goes on to say, the only other game that would make sense is Black Ops 3, which I certainly agree from a competitive perspective, that would be an awful lot of fun to watch, and they could do that, but as he says, it's not retro enough yet to be considered. And also one of the issues might be is that some of the OGs, okay, KiLLa was still competing in Black Ops 3, Big Timer was not, like Parasite still was, like there was still a lot of OGs around in Black Ops 3, even Miracles was still around, like you could get a lot of great players for a Black Ops 3 throwback if it was players that were still competing at the time, but you wouldn't maybe get some of the real OGs like Big T that weren't even competing in Black Ops 3. Ghosts might work, that was a good game, like is it that good, right? Okay, Search and Destroy would be fantastic on Ghosts, but would it be as good to watch Domination, Blitz, this type of stuff as Black Ops 2? Probably not, right? So I understand Hitch's perspective here. They're like, look, let's keep it Black Ops 2 for at least the next couple of years, then maybe after that go to Black Ops 3 when it becomes, a decade old. When Black Ops 3 is a decade old, maybe it's time to do the throwback on it then, I don't know. But yeah, want to keep your thoughts in the comment section below on definitely, because I'm sure Hitch is at least weighing up options for the future season. And here goes Scump, like I never left, he says, the 1 versus 3 he had, firstly Beam and Crimsix, destroying eggs through the wall with the FMJ M8, and then, or the FMJ M8A1, and then taking out Envoy with just a few minutes left in the map to clutch up the 1 versus 3. A critical one as well, because this puts them 3-3 in the map. They end up winning this map, going on to win the series as a result. So yeah, Scum was really hyped about it, and of course gets a victory against Crimsix in the grand finals, and as Crim says, lost my dignity today at the Black Ops 2 throwback. So yeah, Crim I thought played pretty well on the whole. There were some good moments for many players that were playing, but Crim wasn't so happy, right? He reckons he lost his dignity. Like, losing to Scump in the finals, losing to Big Time in the finals, never a good sign. And like, it would still be good if Crim was competing in the league for the upcoming season. Not going to be the case. But honestly, I was really impressed by the performances of many of the kind of old school guys that are making their return here for the throwback, right? I was really hoping that guys like KiLLa and even Big T and Bose wouldn't just get ultra fried, and they'd really show up and show out, and they did exactly that. We'll see some of the numbers here in just a second. These are the top 10 KDs. A massive shout out to Peyton going through and creating this stuff, because I believe he literally went through for when it was required. Scoreboards did occasionally come up, but for the maps where they didn't, he went through and legitimately just counted the kill feed to ensure everything was accurate. It must have been difficult as well, because when EMPs happen, you lose the kill feed, so maybe you have to look at the minimap, like, you know, just impressive work. And anyway, these were the top 10 KDs of the event. Temp technically had the top KD at 1.22. Kind of funny in a way, because I know people are going to say about this, oh, you know, Tebby's at it again, dropping a positive KD, but yet the team got double first rounded, which is technically true. But he did have like a 1.4 in hardpoint, which was absurd. His search and destroy, his 1 versus 1 clutches weren't quite so hot. RC's with a 1.18. KiLLa, third highest KD or joint seconds, also at a 1.18. Black Ops 2 world champ. Like, if you guys have been around a long time, you know that KiLLa's a fantastic player, but honestly, it was his search and destroy that he was best known for back in the day. One of the earliest, smartest S&D minds in the game. Like, you think Black Ops 2 and Ghost, search and destroy players, you think immediately KiLLa and FaZe. These two guys were leading the lines, and KiLLa said himself he's the best search and destroy player in the world back in the day. But it wasn't just his search this tourney, he was killing it in the other game modes as well. Scump with a 1.14. His KD early on wasn't fantastic, but in the grand finals he showed up, which is classic Scump performance, especially back in the OG tournaments. Brustini with a 1.10. Big T with a 1.08, baby. Hasn't played this game in an awful long time, comes back into the fray after retiring almost a decade ago from competitive COD, still drops a positive KD. Shotzzy, Eggs, Crim, Envoy right here as well. The rest of the top 10. And I mean, yeah, the Sauce Boss was seriously looking for them help. This guy, like, he came to this team expected some decent performances from either, you know, Bows, Clay, or Methods, right? Two legitimately present CDL pros on the Vegas Legion and Boston Breach respectively. And KiLLa's like, lads, hang on a second here. What are you lot doing? So these were the grand finals KDs I'm sure you guys will find interesting. So Scump had a 202 in 147 performance, a 1.37 finals KD we saw yesterday. Brustini with a 1.14. RC's holding his own, and Big Time as well, a 1.04 in the grand finals. Just did what he was required to do, but still delivering the goods, because everyone on the other side, including, you know, Envoy, right? Current Pro dropped a 0.8. Crimsix almost had a 1. Aches with about a 0.9, and then JCat with about a 0.8. So yeah, he didn't really have the greatest time with the grand finals here. Crim kind of did his best, but still, Big T outperforming everyone on the other side. So these were the final stats, and these were the kind of, well, the team stats overall for Team Scump and Team KiLLa, or I think it was named Team KiLLa, yeah, understandably. So yeah, Scump the 1.1 for RC's 1.18. These are the numbers that we just kind of saw. Definitely championship winning numbers right here. But yeah, the other team, I mean, look at this. Clay had a 0.87. Now look, in fairness, there was some talk about Clay using kind of, let's just say, a controller that wasn't optimal, and once he switched to the other controller, he was a bit better. But in fairness, in the elimination series, it was still KiLLa that was turning up big time. Bows had a 0.8, Methods a 0.9, Clay had a 0.9. I'm sure KiLLa's sitting there with his 1.2, having not picked up a controller in a year, thinking, hang on a second, what are these lads doing? Just needed a bit of help, right? And we saw that from aLLeY that he turned up like several hours early to shoot bots and get ready for the tournament. So yeah, this guy's still got the passion and still got the ability, which is really cool. I was hoping to see these guys deliver the goods. These were the overall kind of KDs across all the teams. This is the runner-up team right here. Rambo didn't have the greatest time. Temp, as we say, did have a 1.22, despite the team not looking that hot on the whole. So I'll keep these up for a couple of seconds if you guys want to pause and read through anything that you might want to look into. But also, we do have stats for each individual game mode that also Peyton put together. So this is just a phenomenal spreadsheet, and I'll have to zoom out a little bit here to kind of get the picture. As you can see, probably just about there. It's a little bit small, but you guys get the picture, hopefully. Temp with a 1.22 overall, but a 1.38 in hardpoints. Shotzzy had a 1.16 in hardpoints, and yeah, KiLLa a 1.11 in hardpoint. Obviously, generally in hardpoint, it's going to be a little bit more even theoretically in KDs, apart from Temp, who just went completely rogue. This is search and destroy. I mean, yeah, KiLLa with a 1.17. RC's had a 1.6 in search, which was pretty outrageous. And Rambo didn't have the greatest time, sitting here at a 0.44. Merc in the CTF wasn't so good. But yeah, look at KiLLa, man. A 1.38 in capture the flag. And it even kind of counts captures as well, the amount of totals that he had. And also Scump with a 1.39. So, I mean, yeah, I think this is just pretty cool to look at and see the old guard have certainly still got it to some degree. Even Big Timer comes out and says, can't believe I've got to play Black Ops 2 on main stage one last time. And he was really thankful to everyone involved, and of course wins the entire tournament, right? And then Rambo here in the replies, please remove the last time from that tweet. Thank you, everyone says. So yeah, I think this is the thing. As KiLLa said, and even Big T saying, you know, last time, what's going on here? Why not just run it back next season and do this every year? Because these guys have still certainly got it. And Chino is looking at KiLLa. Hang on a second, look at these numbers. This guy's absolutely fine. And as KiLLa says, that's the season 2 playoffs maybe of Black Ops 3. Who hosted that event? I know it wasn't MLG. I'm pretty sure ESL ran it at the time. Yeah, you're right. That's when we carried Cinder and Diabolic to 10 racks, he says. So yeah, this was stage 2 playoffs, I think, where Dream Team came second that event. And I mean, maybe it was even a slightly different situation, but I'm pretty sure that was the case. And Chino was on the team at the time. So yeah, KiLLa's reminiscing on good times. And that's the thing now. Many are saying, well, hang on, KiLLa's actually still got it, right? And Method says we need KiLLa back in the scene. So I remember this talk, you guys might remember a year or so ago, where Hex was like, yeah, I want to give KiLLa a spot on the on the OpTic team as a content guy or whatever he wanted him to do, or do like news videos or something. I'm not really sure what his plan was, but I think that kind of fell through or didn't happen. You guys might remember when KiLLa was on stream and he heard that like Hex wanted to give him a spot or like on OpTic, and he was really grateful and happy. But since then, KiLLa's kind of not exactly turned his life around. I think he was still doing all right, but now he's the electrician. He's got this electrician gig. I'm sure he's doing pretty well for his family there. He's got a couple of kids as well he's got to support, but still having KiLLa back in the scene in some like aspect or another would be fantastic. Either just as occasional co-host of the flag. I don't know if KiLLa really watches much CDL action anymore, but just KiLLa, one of the most entertaining pros of all time, and he's still got the ability, obviously, at least in a game that he's familiar with. And Method says need him back in the scene. Clay says the same thing, because I'm sure these guys are having a hilarious time with KiLLa on their team the entire weekends. And yeah, Clay doubling down on this, despite the fact that KiLLa's probably thinking, look, I don't want to play with you guys again. Straight up costed me this tournament, and like as he said here, potentially my last ever LAN. So hopefully that's not the case and he returns more, because I think a lot of pros would certainly love to see it. And even this from Methods just last night: nightly Modern Warfare 2 wages at aBeZy and KiLLa down whenever the game drops down 100%. So this is all good stuff, really, to see this throwback tournament has not just been very entertaining to watch, but is also sparking other things as well, such as the potential of more Embos, you know, Methods and KiLLa content when the game launches with some wages. So like, if we can keep KiLLa around the scene a little bit more, because it used to be entertaining to watch his streams a couple of years ago, but I don't think he really does that anymore, because like, he's got his own stuff to look after in his own personal life. But having him back in the scene, at least to some degree, would be great to see in whatever form that might potentially be. And just wanted to mention this real quick, as Sharp pointed out the kind of Doug 7 back in the Modern Warfare days, and Skinny Matthias points this out from, I think this is probably the World Championship of Black Ops 2. May have been a different event, but at that event there were some interesting teams, let's just say, attending. And this guy, Paulius Kiz, managed to drop a 0 in 20 donut on Slum's hardpoint against the Epsilon team. It was actually a very good Epsilon team. Jerd goes 28 in 2. So, I mean, yeah, the skill discrepancy between some of the teams at those events back in the Black Ops 2 days was rather spectacular, to be honest. And even speaking of those World Championship events, the #1 lowest KD of all time, unfortunately for Rambo, still will be remembered as his 0.47 performance in the Ghost Grand Finals several years ago. Now, Jacob honestly was the second worst with a 0.73. Now, look, the KD doesn't mean everything, but these are some legendary, difficult series that players had in the World Championship Grand Finals. Jacob, of course, is a pretty famous one, Infinite Warfare Grand Finals. And interesting to note, really, that pretty much all these players lost their series, with the exception of Huke in Modern Warfare 2019, when Dallas Empire, of course, went on to win. And Huke had a great performance that tournament, but I suppose Grand Finals, the KD doesn't necessarily reflect that. But very much enjoyed your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks y'all so much.
Thank you.
All right, let's play some
Let's play some COD, baby.
Let's play some Call of Duty, man.
What the f was that?
Mezcal.
God.
It's Texas tequila.
Hey, Chance Miles, y'all take it away.
Look at
Wow, that is like gasoline.